Listen to me, family, there are moments in life where you feel like you've been overlooked, like you've missed the boat, like the right people just pass you by. But I'm here to tell you today, God won't let you miss who's meant for you. There's a divine connection, a purpose, a plan that is unfolding, and nobody can stop it. The right people, the right blessings, they're already on the way. The universe may try to shake you, but there's one thing the enemy can't take from you, and that's your destiny. I want to speak to your spirit today. I know some of you have been struggling, wondering if you'll ever meet the right person, if you'll ever find that connection, that relationship that speaks to your soul. Some of you may be wondering why the doors haven't opened yet, why the timing feels off, why it feels like you're always a step behind. But hear me when I say this, God won't let you miss who's meant for you. There's an appointed time for every encounter, a season for every relationship, and no matter what the world tries to tell you, God has already set up what's best for you, and He will not allow anything or anyone to block your path. He's making sure you cross paths with who you're supposed to meet at the exact right time. Sometimes in life, we find ourselves in seasons where everything feels like it's dragging. There's this deep frustration that builds inside of us, especially when we can't see the end, when we don't know what's coming. We try to push the clock, we try to force things to happen, we try to rush the process, and all we're left with is more disappointment. We think, why is this taking so long? Why am I still waiting? Why isn't anything working out the way I envisioned? And in that moment, when the waiting feels unbearable, it's easy to start doubting. It's easy to get angry, upset, even resentful, feeling like the world is moving forward and you're stuck in place. But hear me, family, the waiting is not a punishment. It is a process. Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right and yet the door doesn't open? Have you ever felt like you're doing all the right things, making all the right decisions, but the promotion still doesn't come? The right relationship still doesn't appear. Maybe you've been searching for answers, looking at the calendar, trying to figure out why things aren't aligning in the way you thought they would. But what I want you to understand is this: just because you don't see the results right now doesn't mean that God isn't working behind the scenes. It doesn't mean that He's forgotten about you. No, He's preparing you for something much greater than you can imagine. And while you're waiting, He's shaping you, He's building strength in you, He's developing character in you. And more importantly, He's aligning everything that needs to fall into place before you step into your destiny. You see, the delay isn't a setback. It's a setup. It's God's way of telling you, hold on, I've got something amazing coming your way. But before I give it to you, I need to make sure you're ready for it. And I know that can be frustrating because you've been waiting for so long. You've been praying and praying and praying for that breakthrough. You've been doing everything you know to do, but things just don't seem to be moving. You may feel anger rising in your heart because you've been patient, but it seems like others are moving forward faster than you. Why does it feel like they're getting their blessings while you're stuck in this waiting room? Why are they living the life you dreamed of? I get it. I understand that frustration. But here's the truth. What's meant for you will never pass you by. The moment of waiting is not the moment of defeat. No, this is the moment where God is fortifying you, where He is making sure that when He opens the door for you, you are ready to walk through it with confidence, with grace, and with a heart that knows how to appreciate the blessing because you've had to wait for it. And let me tell you something else about waiting. Waiting is not passive. No, waiting doesn't mean sitting around twiddling your thumbs, twiddling your hands, and doing nothing. Oh no, waiting is active. Waiting means you keep moving, you keep trusting, you keep stepping forward. Waiting means you are strengthening your faith, you are learning patience, you are learning to trust the timing of God even when you don't understand it. I know you want it now, but God is saying, I'm going to give it to you, but when I do, it's going to blow your mind. It's going to be better than you ever imagined. You see, when we rush, we often miss the details. When we rush, we often miss the moments that build the foundation for greater things to come. God's timing is perfect, even when it feels like it's delayed. In the waiting, you're being refined. It's like the gold that's put through fire. You're being shaped, you're being purified, and you're going to come out of this waiting period stronger, wiser, more prepared. But right now, I know it's hard. I know that it feels like the clock is ticking and your dreams are fading away with each passing minute. But don't you dare give up. Don't you dare let your frustration steal your joy, because that moment of waiting will soon pass, and when it does, you're going to see that God was never late. He was just making sure everything was lined up, everything was perfect for your arrival. When the time comes, when the moment breaks forth, you will look back and understand why the waiting was so important. And you will give thanks because the blessings will be worth every second of that wait. So when the anger starts to rise, when the frustration gets too heavy, remind yourself God is working behind the scenes. The door will open, the person will arrive, the blessing will manifest, and when it does, you'll be ready, you'll be whole, and you'll be standing in the very thing you've been praying for, wondering how it all came together so perfectly. Because God was working even when you couldn't see it, and now you are walking into what He has promised you all along. There are moments in life when everything feels stagnant, when it feels like you're doing everything right, yet nothing is changing. You show up every day, you put in the work, you pray and hope, but the doors don't open. The dreams don't unfold, and in that moment, frustration builds up like a storm inside you. You look around and see people moving ahead. You see them getting the promotions, finding the love, living the life that seems to have eluded you. And you start to wonder, what's wrong with me? Why does it feel like everyone else has their life together, and I'm stuck here, still waiting? There's a deep sense of injustice that rises in your heart. You ask yourself, why am I being left behind? What am I doing wrong? The anger starts to simmer, doesn't it? You want to shout at the sky, shake your fists at the universe, and demand answers. Why hasn't it happened for me? Why hasn't my time come yet? It feels unfair, like the clock is ticking and everyone else is moving forward while you're stuck in the same place. You might even laugh in frustration, like a nervous breakdown disguised as humor, just to keep yourself from completely losing it. And honestly, who could blame you? Because life can feel like an uphill battle when things don't seem to move the way we want them to. But here's the truth we often forget when we're in the midst of the waiting: God's timing is perfect. Even when everything around you feels like it's falling apart, even when your plans don't seem to align, He's still working in the background. The delay, it's not a denial. The waiting, it's not punishment, it's preparation. And that's the hard pill to swallow when you're tired of waiting, when you're exhausted from hoping, when you're worn down by the weight of unanswered prayers. You see, God is not just about giving you what you want. He's about giving you what you're ready for. And often, when we can't see it, when we can't feel it, He's shaping us, molding us, and growing us into people we need to be for the blessings that are coming. It's tough. I get it. You've been praying, you've been waiting, and you're wondering if it's all just in vain. And that feeling of uncertainty can stir up a bitterness you didn't even know you had. You might start to question your worth, doubt your value, or even wonder if the promises you've been holding on to were ever meant for you in the first place. There's a rawness in that place of waiting, isn't there? That feeling of being on the edge, like you're standing at the threshold of something great, but the door won't open. The questions keep pouring in. Why me? Why now? Why not sooner? Why not later? But let me tell you something that might change your perspective. God doesn't operate in a way that fits into your timetable. He doesn't rush His blessings. He doesn't rush His plans, because He knows something you don't. He knows exactly what's coming, and He knows exactly when you'll be ready for it. We live in a world where everything is instant gratification, instant results, instant answers, but God isn't bound by that timeline. He is creating something in you, something deeper, something more profound than just an answer to your prayer. He is making sure that when the time comes, when that door opens, you will not only be ready to walk through it, but you'll be able to handle the blessing, the responsibility, the opportunity, the people, the success that He's about to pour into your life. And in the waiting, you don't have to sit idly by. No, the waiting is an active process. While you're waiting, God is refining you, stretching you, expanding your capacity. It's like a rubber band being stretched further and further until it's ready to snap back with more force. You may not see it now, but all this time God has been increasing your strength, your faith, your endurance. And you are going to walk into that blessing with such power, such wisdom, and such appreciation because you've endured the process. There's joy that comes with waiting too, though it's often hidden under the frustration. It's the joy of knowing that while you may not see the end yet, the journey is building you up in ways you can't even imagine. The laughter that comes from knowing that your waiting is not in vain. It may not feel like it today, but when that door opens, when the right person walks into your life, when your dreams start to align with your reality, you will laugh at how the pieces fit together perfectly, and you will give thanks for every moment you had to wait. You'll see that what God has in store for you is far better than anything you could have planned on your own. And even in your frustration, even in your tears, there's something that shifts when you recognize that God hasn't forgotten you. He's simply been making sure that when He brings what's meant for you into your life, it will be everything you've been praying for and more. When the time is right, you won't have to force it. It will come naturally, effortlessly, with a sense of peace and fulfillment that nothing else could have provided. So while you wait, know that God is working on your behalf, orchestrating things behind the scenes, setting up the perfect timing for everything you've been hoping for. And when that door opens, when that season shifts, you'll look back and realize that the waiting was not wasted. It was a part of your divine preparation. And the blessings that come will be worth every moment of it. There's something powerful about knowing that the right people are not something you have to chase, something you have to run after, something you have to beg for, or beg to be seen. It's hard to believe that sometimes, especially when you feel like you're invisible, like you're putting in all the effort, doing everything right and still coming up empty-handed. It's easy to feel discouraged when it seems like the people who are meant to be in your life just aren't showing up. It's easy to feel like you've been overlooked, like you're somehow unworthy of the right connections, the right friendships, the right relationships. And when that happens, it can stir up anger inside of you, anger that maybe you've been trying too hard, that you've been overlooked or misunderstood. Anger that maybe the right people have passed you by, or that others are living the life you've always dreamed of while you're still waiting in the wings. I know it can feel unfair. I know it can make you wonder if anyone truly sees you for who you are. You start to question if the people who are meant to walk beside you will ever come, if they'll ever recognize your value, your potential, your worth. But listen to me, there's a truth that's hard to grasp in the moment, but it's a truth that will change everything if you let it sink into your soul. God won't let you miss the right people. It might not feel like it right now, but God has already ordained the right people to find you. He has already set up the perfect connections at the perfect time, and you won't miss them. You don't have to chase after them. You don't have to force anything to happen. No matter how long it's been, no matter how many doors have been shut in your face, the right people will find their way into your life. It's hard to believe that in the moments of loneliness, in the moments of rejection, when it feels like no one truly gets you. But I promise you, family, when the right people come, it will be like a floodgate opening, and everything you've been hoping for will come rushing into your life. And I understand the frustration of waiting. I know the impatience that rises when it feels like everyone else is getting what you want, and you're left wondering, when will it be my turn? You feel like you're doing everything you can, making the right moves, putting yourself out there, trying to connect with the right people. And still nothing. The phone stays silent, the invitations don't come, the relationships don't blossom. You're left questioning why you keep striking out. But let me tell you, it's not that something's wrong with you. It's that the right people just haven't shown up yet. And that's okay. God is the ultimate orchestrator of connections, of relationships, and of moments. The right people will come at the right time, whether it's a mentor, a friend, a partner, or a colleague who will help you step into your purpose. The enemy might try to make you feel like you're invisible or insignificant, but trust me when I say this, God sees you. He knows what you need, and He knows the right people who will walk into your life to help you, to support you, and to push you forward into your destiny. They may not have arrived yet, but they are on their way. And when they come, you'll see how perfectly they fit into your story, how their presence will bring the encouragement, the strength, and the love that you need to fulfill your purpose. It's hard to let go of the control, isn't it? It's hard to trust that the right people will come when you're so used to being in charge, used to making things happen on your own. We often think we need to chase after the right people, make them notice us, convince them that we are worthy of their time, their friendship, or their love. But I'm telling you right now, the right people won't need convincing. They will see you for who you truly are. They will recognize your value, your heart, and they will be drawn to you because they're meant to be in your life. When you let go of the chase, you free yourself from the anxiety, the stress, the pressure to be something or someone you're not, just to fit into a relationship. And here's the joy in all of this. The moment you stop chasing, the moment you stop forcing, is the moment that the right people will begin to appear. They will find you. And when they do, you'll laugh at how everything worked out. You'll laugh at how you spent so much time trying to fit into places and with people who weren't meant for you. You'll see that the moments of waiting, of confusion, and of struggle were simply preparing you for something better, something more aligned with your purpose. The right people will find you when you least expect it, when you stop trying so hard. And when they do, you won't have to explain who you are to them. They will see you and understand you in ways that others didn't. They'll recognize your worth without you having to prove it. You won't have to explain your dreams, your goals, or your struggles because they will get it. The right people will show up, and in an instant, everything will click. You'll know that all those years of feeling like you were wandering alone were just part of the process of bringing the right people into your life at the right time. And let me tell you something, when those right people arrive, they will change everything. They'll open doors for you. They'll speak life into your dreams. They'll encourage you when you want to give up. They'll walk alongside you, and together you'll accomplish things that you couldn't have done alone. You won't have to chase them, and they won't have to chase you. It will be natural, effortless, like everything you've been through was just preparing you for this moment of connection. So don't worry about who's not in your life right now. Don't stress over the people who have walked away or the ones who didn't recognize your worth. The right people are coming. When they do, you'll see that all the waiting, all the frustration was worth it, because nothing is more powerful than walking with those who were meant to be by your side. There's a deep truth that we often forget in the midst of our struggles, and that is this: God's purpose prevails. Now, this isn't just some nice, comforting phrase meant to make us feel better in the hard times. No, this is a reality that's written into the very fabric of our lives, whether we see it at the moment or not. The truth is, no matter how much it seems like things aren't going your way, no matter how many times you've been knocked down, no matter how many times you've seen people walk away from you or turn their backs on you, God's purpose in your life cannot be stopped. Nothing and no one can disrupt what He has set in motion for you. I know what it feels like to be in the middle of a storm. I know the anger that rises up when it seems like everything is falling apart. When you've worked so hard, put in so much effort, and it feels like it's all for now, for nothing. When you've trusted, when you've hoped, when you've prayed, and yet the doors are still shut, the frustration can make you feel like you're at the end of your rope. You start to question everything. You wonder, why is this happening to me? Why can't I catch a break? Why does it seem like others are walking into their purpose while I'm stuck in the mud, trying to figure things out? It's in those moments of confusion and frustration that we start to doubt not just ourselves, but the purpose behind it all. We question whether God's plan is even real. We wonder if we've missed something along the way. And it's easy to get angry at the unfairness of it all, angry at the people who seem to have it all, angry at the situations that keep knocking us down. But listen to me when I say this: God's purpose prevails. Even in the moments when it feels like everything is falling apart, even when the rejection stings, even when it feels like the world is against you, God's plan is still moving forward. He's still working behind the scenes, and His purpose is still being fulfilled, even when you can't see it. I know it doesn't make sense right now, but His purpose will never be thwarted. It doesn't matter how many obstacles come your way. It doesn't matter how many people try to stop you. It doesn't matter how many doors slam in your face. If God has spoken over your life, nothing, no one can stop what He has already ordained for you. But let me be clear, God's purpose is bigger than just getting what you want. We live in a world that tells us to chase our desires, to run after what we think will make us happy. But God's purpose is not about giving us a life of ease or instant gratification. No, His purpose is about refining us, shaping us, molding us into the people we were created to be. And sometimes that process is painful. Sometimes it requires us to be broken down in order to be built back up. But here's the truth: you cannot fulfill your purpose without going through the fire. You cannot walk into what God has for you without enduring the struggles, the hardships, the setbacks. But every single one of those moments is part of a bigger picture, and it's all part of the purpose He has for you. I know it's hard to see it when you're in the midst of the struggle, when it feels like you're alone, when it feels like everything is going wrong. But God is still in control. He is still working. He's still making things happen behind the scenes that you can't even comprehend. And let me tell you something: when His purpose prevails, when you finally step into that season of breakthrough, you're going to look back and see how all of those hard moments, all those moments of confusion and frustration were leading you to something greater. You're going to see how the rejection was really redirection, how the pain was really preparation, how the closed doors were setting you up for the right one to open at just the right time. It's in those moments of waiting, of frustration, of not knowing what's coming next, that we learn to trust. Trust that God is working even when we can't see it. Trust that He knows what's best for us. Trust that His plan is bigger than our plan, His timing better than our timing. And when we finally surrender that control, when we stop fighting the process and start trusting the journey, we start to realize that God's purpose is unfolding perfectly, even in the chaos. It's like a symphony that's being composed note by note, and each note, no matter how discordant it seems in the moment, is contributing to the masterpiece that's being created. And here's the thing about God's purpose: it's not just for you. It's bigger than just you. It's not just about your happiness or your success. His purpose will always be tied to the greater good. It will touch others in ways you can't yet understand. The struggles you face, the pain you've endured, the lessons you've learned, these are all preparing you to serve a greater purpose that will impact not only your life, but the lives of others. You may not see it right now, but there will be a time when you look back and realize that everything you've gone through was meant to equip you for the work that God has called you to do in the world. So even in the toughest times, even when it feels like everything is falling apart, remember this: God's purpose will prevail. His plan will come to pass, and nothing and no one can stop it. You may not understand the path right now. You may not know why you're going through what you're going through, but keep your faith. Keep your trust, because when God's purpose is in motion, there is no power on earth that can stand in its way. The moment you step into it, you'll see how every piece of the puzzle falls into place, and you'll look back and laugh at the things that tried to stop you, because nothing can block what God has already set in motion for you. You know what it feels like to look back on your life and feel like time has been wasted? I get it. You think about the years that passed, the opportunities that seemed to slip away, the moments that you feel like you didn't seize. And it's like there's this heavy weight that pulls on your chest, making you regret decisions, making you wonder if things would have turned out differently if you had just chosen another path, made a different move, taken that leap when you had the chance. There's a frustration that burns within you, this quiet anger, because it feels like you missed your moment. It feels like the clock is ticking and you're running out of time, like you've wasted your years chasing after the wrong things or investing in the wrong people. There's this voice that whispers in your ear, it's too late for you. You've missed your opportunity. You should have started earlier. You should have done this when you were younger. And in those moments, that voice feels so loud. It feels like the past is louder than your future, louder than your dreams, and it seems like there's no way to silence it. That anger, that frustration, it's not just about the lost time, it's about what you think you should have achieved by now, and that fear that maybe you'll never get there. The question you ask yourself, what's the point of trying if I've already missed my chance? But here's the thing: God doesn't operate in our limited understanding of time. We are bound by time, but He is not. When you look back at those lost years, those missed opportunities, the moments that you feel slipped away, God looks at them differently. He doesn't see missed chances. He sees a process. He sees every one of those moments as part of the training ground that has shaped you into who you are today. And yes, it's hard to swallow that when you're in the midst of the regret, when you're looking back on what you think you've lost. But God is not bound by the same limitations we are. He doesn't see time the way we do. You may think it's too late for you. You may think that the door has closed, that the opportunity has passed, that the best years of your life are behind you. But I'm here to tell you something: God can still redeem lost time. He can still make up for the years that you feel have been wasted. You're not too old. You're not too far gone. You haven't missed your shot. In fact, the best is yet to come. I know it's hard to believe when you've been through pain, when you've suffered loss, when the road has been long and the path uncertain. I know that it feels like the weight of those lost years is heavy, and every time you look in the mirror, you see the marks of time that feel like a reminder of everything you didn't do, every goal you didn't reach, every dream you didn't chase. But here's the power of God's plan. He can take those years that you think were wasted and turn them into something beautiful. He can take your setbacks, your failures, your regrets, and He can weave them into a new purpose. Your past doesn't have to define your future. It doesn't matter how long it's taken you to get here. What matters is that you're still here. And as long as you're still here, God is still at work. He's still moving. He's still making a way. He's still turning things around. I want you to hear me right now. God's timing is perfect. It may not feel like it. It may feel like you're behind. It may feel like the world is passing you by. But God doesn't make mistakes with timing. He doesn't waste anything. So when you think about all that time that feels lost, all the things you regret, I want you to shift your focus. Instead of looking back with regret, look forward with expectation. Because God has a way of making up for the years that the enemy tried to steal from you. He has a way of restoring what you thought was lost. And listen to this: sometimes the waiting, the suffering, the delays, and the confusion are not in vain. They are part of your preparation. God allows certain things to unfold in their own time so that when the blessing comes, you'll be ready for it. You can't rush certain things. You can't force them. And I know that can be frustrating. You might even feel like laughing out of sheer frustration because it seems like the harder you try, the further away the answers seem. But those delays, they're not denials. They're divine detours. The things you went through, the people you lost, the opportunities that slipped through your fingers, God is causing those very things to shape you. And He is not wasting any part of your life. You might look back and see years of pain, years of mistakes, years of wondering if you'll ever get to where you're supposed to be. But let me tell you something, God can restore those years. The time you think you've lost is not lost to God. He can redeem it. He can make the years that seem wasted the very years that prepare you for something greater. And when He opens that door, when that opportunity finally comes, you'll see that the timing was perfect and the waiting was worth it. You'll look back and realize that everything you thought you missed, everything you thought was wasted, was part of the story that brought you here. So stop looking at the past with regret. Stop holding on to the anger that you've wasted time. Trust that God is in control of your future. Trust that He is making all things work together for your good. He is not finished with you yet. You have not missed your moment. Your purpose is still alive. Your destiny is still unfolding, and what He has for you is so much bigger than what you've left behind. Keep moving forward, because the best is yet to come. The time you think was lost is actually being used to build something far more beautiful than you could ever imagine. There are moments in life when the weight of the world feels like it's crashing down on your shoulders. It feels like the forces of the universe have conspired against you, like everything you've ever worked for, everything you've dreamed of, is just slipping through your fingers. And in those moments when the walls are closing in, and it seems like nothing is going right, you can feel the sting of disappointment deep within your soul. You start to wonder, why is this happening to me? What did I do wrong? Why does it feel like the whole world is moving forward, while I'm stuck here in the mud, trying to figure out what went wrong? The frustration builds. The anger bubbles up, because you feel like you're being treated unfairly, like you're putting in the effort, but it's not paying off. And in those times, you can't help but ask, where is God in all of this? It's a question that rises up from the very depths of your heart. It's a question that burns with pain and confusion. You know what it's like to feel like you're holding on to nothing but air, like you're reaching out for something solid, but all you get is disappointment and heartache. It's easy in those moments to feel abandoned, to feel like God has forgotten you. You see others around you, people who seem to have it all together, people who seem to have everything they want, and it just feels so unjust. They don't deserve it. You've put in the work, you've done the right thing, but why does it seem like they're getting everything while you're stuck? You may even feel the anger rising when you look at your own situation. You might wonder why the doors you've been knocking on remain closed, while others seem to be walking through doors that you've longed for. You've prayed and you've trusted. You've been faithful, and yet the answer hasn't come. It's like you're being left behind. Like no matter how much you give, no matter how much you endure, it feels like the prize keeps slipping just out of reach. But here's the truth that's so difficult to accept when we're in the midst of the struggle. God is still with you. It doesn't feel like it in those moments. It doesn't feel like it when you're sitting in your room, wrestling with the weight of the world, wondering why things aren't happening for you. It doesn't feel like it when the tears won't stop flowing, and you're doing everything you can just to hold it together. But God is right there in the middle of your mess. He is right there in the middle of your pain, in the middle of your confusion, in the middle of your heartbreak. He has not left you. He has not forsaken you. I know that when you're in the storm, it's easy to think that God has forgotten about you. When everything is swirling around you, and nothing is making sense, it's hard to believe that God has a plan for your life, that He is actually working things out on your behalf. It feels like your prayers are going unanswered, like your faith is being tested beyond its limits, and all you can do is hang on to what little hope you have left. But let me tell you this, God is working on your behalf, even when you can't see it. You may not see it right now, you may not feel it, but He is at work behind the scenes, moving things around, aligning things, preparing the right moment, the right time, the right opportunity for you. He is shaping you in the process, preparing you for something far greater than you could ever imagine. You may not understand it, you may not like it, but I promise you this, there is purpose in the pain. There is purpose in the waiting. There is purpose in the unanswered prayers. You might be walking through a season of wilderness, but God is using that wilderness to prepare you for something greater. He is refining you. He is teaching you resilience, strength, and patience. He is teaching you trust. And it's in the hardest of moments that you find the greatest growth. What you need to remember is that God's plan for your life is not defined by your current circumstances. It's not defined by the disappointments you're facing or the frustrations you're feeling. It's not defined by the seasons of waiting or the unanswered prayers. God's plan for you is bigger than the here and now. He sees the end from the beginning. He sees the path that leads to your breakthrough. And though it may seem dark right now, though it may seem like you're walking through a valley, He is with you, and He is leading you to a place of fulfillment, a place of purpose, a place of victory. You might be in the middle of a battle. You might be fighting feelings of abandonment, rejection, and frustration. You might feel like you're standing alone in the middle of a storm. But let me remind you of this. The storm does not have the final word. The pain does not have the final word. The struggle does not have the final word. God has the final word. And His word over your life is victory. His word over your life is peace. His word over your life is purpose. So when everything around you seems to be falling apart, hold on to His word. Hold on to His promise. Keep trusting, even when you can't see it. Keep believing, even when you don't feel it. Because God is still with you, and He is working in your life, even when you can't see it. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not abandoned. God is right there, even in the quiet, even in the storm. And when He moves, you will see that everything that you thought was falling apart was actually falling into place, perfectly aligned with the plan He has for your life. Keep holding on. The breakthrough is coming. It's one of the hardest things to grapple with in life. The moments when the people you trust, the people you love, the people you thought would always have your back, let you down. And I'm not talking about the small disappointments, the things we can brush off and move past. I'm talking about those deep betrayals, those moments when someone you thought would never hurt you does exactly that. It cuts deep, doesn't it? When someone you thought was in your corner turns their back on you, or worse, takes advantage of your vulnerability. It's a different kind of pain. A betrayal is like a wound that you can't even see, but it hurts so much that it's hard to breathe. You feel like your trust has been shattered, like you've been left exposed, vulnerable to a world that doesn't seem to care. And in those moments, it's easy to feel alone. It's easy to let the anger creep in. Anger at the person who hurt you, anger at the situation, anger at yourself for trusting them in the first place. You wonder how you could have been so foolish. You wonder how you could have believed in someone who only wanted to take advantage of you. The feeling of being used, discarded, and betrayed is so overwhelming that it feels like it will swallow you whole. And what makes it worse is that sometimes it's the people closest to you who inflict this pain. Friends, family, those you've shared your most intimate moments with. It's like the foundation you've built your life on suddenly crumbles beneath your feet, and you're left standing in the wreckage of your broken trust. It feels like you've given your heart, your time, your energy, and in return, you've been given nothing but betrayal. And that anger, that pain, that frustration begins to bubble up inside you, like a storm that's building, threatening to burst at any moment. You wonder if you can ever trust again. You wonder if you'll ever let anyone in that deeply again. You wonder if it's even worth it to try. But I want to tell you something that may not be easy to hear right now, but it's something you need to understand. The betrayal doesn't define you. What others do to you doesn't define your worth. Their actions, no matter how painful, don't determine who you are. You see, when people betray you, when they hurt you, it's a reflection of their character, not yours. It's a reflection of their choices, their insecurities, their flaws. And even though it feels like their actions are personal, even though it feels like they are attacking you directly, their behavior says more about them than it does about you. Now, that doesn't mean that the pain of betrayal isn't real. It doesn't mean that the hurt you feel isn't valid. Of course it is. But what you need to do in those moments is refuse to let their actions take away your power. Don't let their betrayal make you bitter. Don't let it make you jaded. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult, but you cannot let their choices define your response. You cannot let them control your peace. You cannot let them rob you of your joy. That's what they want. That's what the enemy wants. To break you, to isolate you, to make you believe that because you've been hurt, you are forever broken. But you are not broken. You are strong, you are resilient, and you are capable of healing from this. You may feel like the wound is too deep, like you'll never be able to trust anyone again, but I want to remind you of something powerful. God is the restorer of broken hearts. He is the mender of wounds. He takes those shattered pieces of your life and puts them back together, piece by piece, until you are whole again. Your healing may take time, and that's okay. It's okay to feel the pain, to process it, to allow yourself to grieve what you lost. But don't stay in that place. Don't let the betrayal define you. Don't let it rob you of the person you are becoming. In fact, what I want you to understand is that this betrayal doesn't have to break you. It can make you stronger. It can be the very thing that pushes you to grow, that forces you to reevaluate what's truly important in your life. It can be the catalyst for self-reflection, for growth, and for deeper understanding. When someone betrays you, it forces you to look at the situation and ask yourself, what do I really want? What do I value? What do I need in my life? It challenges you to set boundaries, to define what trust looks like, and to develop the strength to protect your heart in a healthy way moving forward. You see, sometimes betrayal is a wake-up call. It's a reminder that not everyone who comes into your life is meant to stay. Not everyone who says they're with you truly has your best interest at heart. And when that person leaves, when they hurt you, it's God making room for the right people. It's God making room for the people who will love you, who will stand by you, who will build you up instead of tear you down. You have to trust that even when people leave, God will send the right people at the right time. He will never leave you alone. He will never forsake you. And through that process of healing, through that process of learning to trust again, you will discover something incredible. Your worth is not tied to the approval or love of others. Your worth comes from Him, from the Creator who formed you, who knows you, and who loves you unconditionally. So yes, the betrayal hurts. Yes, it feels like the world is crashing down around you. Yes, it can make you question your judgment and your trust. But I want you to remember that this is not the end of your story. This is a chapter, a painful chapter, but it is only one chapter in a much larger story that God is writing for you. And in the end, you will see how even this hurt will play a part in your purpose, in your growth, in your future. You will see how God takes what the enemy meant for evil and turns it for good. You will rise above this. You will come out stronger, more whole, and more ready for the future He has prepared for you. So don't let this betrayal steal your joy. Don't let it steal your peace. Don't let it steal your trust in the one who has never failed you. Keep going. Your story isn't over yet. Sometimes the hardest thing to accept is that everything you've worked for, everything you've dreamed about, and everything you've hoped for doesn't come to fruition when you expect it to. It feels like the universe is mocking you, like it's teasing you with something you can almost taste, but never quite reach. You've put in the time, the effort, the sacrifices. You've stayed up late. You've worked harder than you thought possible, and you've given more of yourself than you ever thought you could. And yet, the results aren't showing. The doors aren't opening. The success you've dreamed of feels just out of reach. And that is frustrating, isn't it? It feels like you're stuck in this endless loop of effort with no payoff. You see other people getting their big break, achieving what you've been working toward for years, and it's like a punch to the gut. You feel that anger bubbling up. Anger at the world, anger at your situation, maybe even anger at yourself. Why is it so easy for them? You think, what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? Why isn't my hard work paying off? It's almost like the harder you try, the further away your dreams seem. It feels like you're running on a treadmill, giving your all but getting nowhere. And what's worse is that sometimes you can't even explain it to the people around you. They don't understand. They don't see how much you've sacrificed. They don't see the late nights, the constant grind, the moments where you felt like giving up, but pushed through anyway. They don't understand the weight of disappointment that you're carrying, the constant feeling of being on the edge of something great, only to fall short time and time again. It's exhausting, mentally and emotionally. And yet, you keep going. You keep pushing forward because you believe that one day, somehow, it will all pay off. But here's the thing. The process, it's not wasted. I know in the moment, it doesn't feel like it. In the moment, it feels like you've been spinning your wheels for nothing, like you've put all this effort into something that's never going to happen. But that couldn't be further from the truth. What you may not see, what you may not understand yet, is that the process is shaping you, it's preparing you, it's refining you. The hard work, the disappointments, the failures, and even the moments where you thought you couldn't keep going, they're all part of your story. They're part of what makes you who you are, and what makes you ready for what's coming next. I know it's hard to see that when you're standing in the middle of the struggle. It's hard to believe that this pain, this feeling of being stuck, has any real purpose. It feels like you're doing everything right, but the world just isn't responding the way you want it to. But I need you to understand something. God is working in the unseen. He is preparing you in ways that you don't even realize. While you're putting in the hours, while you're feeling defeated, He's working behind the scenes. He's working on your character, on your resilience, on your faith. He's building your strength for the season of success that's coming. And I know that doesn't make it any easier in the moment. I know that in the midst of the struggle, it can feel like God has forgotten you, or that the dream you're chasing will never happen. But I want to remind you of something. God's timing is not our timing. It's so easy to get frustrated when you're not seeing immediate results, when things aren't moving as quickly as you'd like. But what you don't know is that sometimes it's the waiting that prepares us for what's to come. The longer you have to wait, the more you are being refined. The more you are learning to trust in something greater than yourself. The more you are learning the value of patience, of perseverance, of faith that doesn't rely on the immediate answers, but holds on to the promise that God is faithful. Sometimes the greatest breakthrough comes not in the moment of success, but in the moments of preparation. The pain, the struggle, the doubts, they're the very things that will equip you for the future. They will make you more resilient, more able to handle the weight of the success that is on the way. You might not see it yet, but everything you're going through right now is building you up for something bigger. It's pushing you to grow in ways that you never would have grown if everything had come easy. The strength you gain in the process is what will sustain you when the success finally arrives. And I know it feels like everything is moving so slowly, like you're walking through molasses, while everyone else seems to be speeding ahead. But don't forget, what's meant for you will not pass you by. The opportunities that are meant for you, the success that's meant for you, it will find you. It may not happen when you think it should, but it will happen. I know it's hard to trust that. I know it's hard to believe when you're watching everyone else around you seemingly achieve everything they've dreamed of. But I want you to hold on to this truth. God has not forgotten about you. He has not overlooked you. You are not behind. Your journey is yours alone. And even though it may seem like you're stuck, or even like you're losing ground, you are exactly where you need to be. Every setback is a setup for something greater. Every moment of doubt is an invitation to grow in your faith. And every time you feel like giving up, it's another opportunity to trust in God's plan for you, a plan that is greater than any plan you could create for yourself. So when it feels like nothing is happening, when it feels like you're not making progress, when the dream seems to be slipping further away, don't stop, don't give up. You are on the verge of something great, and even though it feels like you're running in place, you are moving forward. The process is preparing you for the moment when everything comes together. Trust that God is in control. Trust that He's leading you step by step, even when you can't see the path ahead. The success you've been working for, it's coming, and it will be worth every single step you've taken to get there. There are few things in life that are as painful as loss. Loss hits us in so many different ways. It can be the death of a loved one, the end of a relationship, the loss of a dream, or even the loss of something intangible like peace of mind or joy. And when that loss hits, it doesn't just affect us on the surface, it cuts deep, doesn't it? It shakes us to the core, leaving us feeling broken, empty, and vulnerable. The pain is almost unbearable, and it seems like the world around us is moving forward while we're stuck in the depths of grief. There's no escape from it. It's all consuming. In those moments, when we are faced with the harsh reality of loss, we feel a range of emotions. There's anger at the situation, at ourselves, at the world. We scream inside, asking, why? Why did this happen? Why me? It's a feeling of injustice, of being cheated out of something we loved. We feel like we've been robbed, like we've been left to pick up the pieces of something that can never be whole again. We look around and wonder how everyone else seems to be fine, moving on with their lives, while we are stuck in the dark, alone with our grief. And in that loneliness, we might even begin to question everything, our faith, our purpose, our worth. But then there's a moment, maybe not right away, maybe not for a while, but eventually, we start to understand something powerful. The loss doesn't have to be the end. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it's painful. Yes, it feels like the world has shattered and will never be the same again. But we don't have to stay broken. We don't have to stay stuck in the pain forever. The grief is real, and it's valid. The sorrow is deep, and it's completely justified. But there's something that happens when we choose to allow ourselves to grieve fully, when we choose to feel the pain rather than run from it. Something incredible begins to emerge from the ashes. It's the moment when you realize that healing is possible, that the brokenness doesn't have to define you. You see, in the middle of your pain, God is at work. He doesn't cause the loss, He doesn't cause the hurt, but He is right there with you, in the midst of it, pulling you out of the darkness, helping you to stand when you thought you couldn't. Healing doesn't happen overnight, and it's not linear. Some days it feels like you're back at square one, like the wound is fresh, and the pain is as intense as ever. But then slowly, almost imperceptibly, something changes. A glimmer of light shines through the darkness, a whisper of hope breaks through the despair. And when that happens, when you begin to feel the weight of the grief begin to lift, there's a sense of strength that rises up within you. It's not strength that you've always had. It's strength that you've gained through the process of grieving, through the process of allowing yourself to be vulnerable and broken. You've learned to sit with the pain, to acknowledge it, to honor it, but you've also learned to not let it consume you. You've learned that you are more than your pain. You are more than your loss. And that is one of the most powerful realizations you can have. You are still here. You are still standing. You are still breathing. And that in itself is a victory. It's also in the process of loss that we often discover something deeper about ourselves. We discover what we truly value, what truly matters, and what we're truly made of. The things that we thought were important, money, success, superficial relationships, begin to fade into the background, and we realize that what we really need is peace, connection, and love. And in the midst of our grief, we also realize that we are not alone. We are not abandoned. We have people who love us, who are walking alongside us, even if it doesn't always feel that way. Sometimes, it's hard to reach out, to admit we need help, to let others in. But when we do, when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we discover the beauty of community. We discover that we don't have to carry the burden alone. But even more than that, we begin to see that God is there in the middle of our loss. Even when we can't feel His presence, even when it seems like He's far away, He is right there with us, holding us, supporting us, and guiding us through the grief. He doesn't promise us that we won't experience pain. He doesn't promise us that we won't lose the things and people we love. But what He does promise is that we are never alone. He will never leave us. He will never forsake us. He is our comfort in the
the morning, our strength in the weakness, and our peace in the chaos. And when we lean into Him during those times of grief, He will be the one to heal our broken hearts. The loss may never completely go away. We may never be able to fully forget what we've lost, but we can move forward, and that moving forward doesn't mean that we are leaving behind our love for what we lost. It means we are learning to carry that love with us in a new way. We are learning to honor what was lost by continuing to live, to grow, and to move toward the future. The pain may never fully disappear, but it will transform. It will shape us into people who know how to appreciate what we have, who know how to cherish the moments, the people, the love, the experiences, because we understand just how fragile life is. And as we walk through the process of healing, we find that the grief that once felt like it would overwhelm us is now something that shapes us, something that strengthens our character, something that makes us more compassionate, more empathetic, more connected to the suffering of others. We realize that there is a beauty that comes out of the ashes of loss, that in the brokenness there is healing, there is purpose, there is redemption. So yes, loss hurts. Yes, it feels like it will never end. But the truth is, it will not defeat you. You will rise from this. You will find your strength, your joy, your purpose again. The grief may always be a part of you, but it will no longer control you. It will no longer define you. And you will see, as time passes, that the pain of your loss has made you a stronger, more compassionate, and more whole person than you ever thought possible. Healing will come, and when it does, it will be even more beautiful than you could have ever imagined.